All right, folks. This is Curtis in the kitchen. Uh, there's just a real strong sense and presence of God saying, "I'm in the business of remaking things, turning things, finding lost vessels. In this case, shaping them, working them with my hand, and renewing the mind and turning them into something beautiful. Where the light was shining. There's something about this candle making that's really become powerful." Because I found this vessel sitting on the shelf. It has more value than what I paid for it. But I find myself just with my creative mind making stuff, and I try not to focus too much on what's going on in my kitchen because that's a mess. And some of y'all that know me and been around me at a certain time know that I could have been a mess, or not knowing which direction I was going, or don't keep the house tidy, or whatever. A lot of change needs to be, but I'm running across people where we're posting about, going uphill and making the change. And we went down the path. I just shared again. I just keep hearing this. There's a way that seems right to a man or woman at the time in that state of mind that leads to destruction. And we go do the things because of loneliness or hurt or sorrow or grieving over a loved one, or we can go down a path that we're not supposed to go to. But no matter what, God's going to take you, that vessel, like I'm seeing in this candle, and He's going to start doing a work in you, and your light's going to shine if you stay on the path. If you know this is the way, He's going to send you the right person eventually in your life that will make you complete, no matter how many times you've been hurt by others. It's kind of like you've been going up friend posted about going up the river, and I'm reminded, and I have principles and philosophies about the river, and God showed me, keep swimming. If you got a hole in the boat and you got to put a finger in it, you need to pull over to the side, because while you got fingers in the holes of the boat, you can't row. If you're rowing alone, keep rowing. If your partner in life, passed away and you have to row alone, you have to row alone. You have to go through the sorrow. If what brings you joy, it's just part of life, and it sucks sometimes, but keep rowing. And those times is when we're most tempted to go do things to folks, and get involved that we shouldn't be. So be still, take time to hear what the Lord is doing in you. And if you have to pull over to the side, rest. But you can't rest too long because life keeps going on. Um, if anybody has never heard of the book Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, it was written in the 1800s, I believe. There is a video that has been a remake that kind of you can sit and watch. I loaned that to somebody and I never got it back. But this is a lot of the same thing. The Christian was the name of the young man that was on the journey to find this whole thing, and it's kind of, the path, at least just took the path that looked right, and end up in the dungeon of despair. And I'm constantly reminded of that, and it's a good visual. So God knows where you're at. If you can take things, this repurposing things is something that God is saying that hey, I'm in the business of that. I want you to take something that's there and make it into something else, and or take something new and make it into to more. So you're going to see a lot more of this, and in the candle world, this is a lot harder to do because I only have one piece, and I either have to test it and see if my wicks are right, or I have to just trust that God, this is going to work. I don't know, and I hope it does, which can be a risk. But after you experiment with it enough, you start getting the hang of it. So I'm hoping this candle, and yes, this candle's going to be available, and it's going to cost a lot because I got a lot of wax in there and a lot of good fragrance. This is birch, but that's not really the point. The point is I was lost and now I'm found, and this wasn't lost. God knew where this vessel was. The parable of the coin, God knew where the coin is. God knows where the sheep are. God knows where you're at in this life, and you haven't disappointed me if you made mistakes. And if anybody just knows me like in a time of my life when I did certain things, I have changed, and I still change. It doesn't mean I can't even fall back into it for a time. But as we just lean on Him, and always when there is that time when we got off and where we didn't need to be, we always just need to turn and come closer to Him and stay close, you know, in the shadow of the Almighty, and then let other things happen. So I know we're all going through a lot, but I hope this helped. Amen.